So we're looking at 25 hydroxy vitamin D. That's the storage form of vitamin D. And what they found was that as your levels started to drop below 50 nanograms per milliliter, we started to see an increase in SARS-CoV-2 positivity rate. A lot of these levels that we've come up with are based on the endocrinological function of vitamin D with bone metabolism. We don't know if that's the value that we need for immunological functioning or COVID. What we do have some associative studies that seem to show, at least in those studies that we talked about earlier, where they looked at 191,000 people, that SARS-CoV-2 rates started to go up once levels drop below 50. So that's an interesting number.
Back in 2013, there was a meta-analysis published. I don't know the author's name, but the studies dated back from the 1960s to the 2013, and it was looking at all-cause mortality in association with vitamin D blood levels. And it was found that, levels somewhere between 40 to 60 or 70, it was the lowest all-cause mortality. So there was this sweet spot. In terms of supplementation, though, it's the upper tolerable intake that's been set by the Institute of Medicine has been 4,000 IUs a day. And what about, vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin. What about toxicity?
Toxicity, there was a statement that I read that said that vitamin D is probably the least toxic fat-soluble vitamin. So there was a study where this Polish guy looked at Polish scientists looked at the Mayo Clinic's database, and they looked at 20,000 people, and we talked about this in their video that we recently published. One person had hypercalcemia out of those 20,000, and they had ranges, people supplementing anywhere from 0 to 55,000 units a day. And really just one person, and that person's vitamin D level, if I recall correctly, was up in the 200, 300 range. That's nanograms per milliliter. And that's not
hard to do.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, I remember reading a study, and I'm sure you've seen this one, where there was the long-term supplementation with 10,000 IUs a day, and it was really no toxic effect. And that was I forgot how long-term it was, but
yeah. The other thing that I've seen is that it's not a linear response curve. So as you go up in supplementation, it's not like your nanograms per milliliter are going to go up linearly. What we notice actually is that the first 1,000 units that you supplement causes an increase of about 4.8 to 5 nanograms per milliliter, whereas when you get up to about 15, 20, 30,000, that each additional 1,000 goes up by about 1/10 of that. So it's a non-linear relationship. It's exponential, but the reverse of exponential. As you go up higher and higher, the increment becomes less and less. It's almost like you're saturating receptors, if you will. It's probably not the case, but that's what it seems to be like.